Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and this is the NWS 138/69 200 Fantasticoplus side lever cutter with a 50% advantage over presumably side cutters that don't have this leverage advantage. This thing, it's identical to my old Irwin pair. You know, these Irwins have been great. Oddly, this sells on Amazon for about $41, $42. This is about $72 on Amazon. So I guess that Irwin Vice Grip branding really makes it more valuable. But anyway, why doesn't everybody have one of these? Most of us grew up using this kind of stuff. Why not have this high leverage? Well, this high leverage is great for high leverage applications. If you're cutting through bolts, it just zips right through compared to these others. It does take a little bit of effort, but when you're cutting wire, I mean, it's amazing. It's effortless, literally. Almost no effort at all. No real push on the handles, and it slices right through. But there is a trade-off. To get that additional leverage, what you end up doing is two main things. One is you reduce the overall width that you can grab something. Look at that. That does not seat fully down. So if you're trying to cut something bigger, you may not be able to get the full leverage advantage because, as you can see, that's as far down as it goes. And you wouldn't cut probably with this snap-on here, but that easily fits into a smaller pliers or a smaller cutter's grip. Even the Klein here, tons more room. So one thing, you lose a little bit of that, which also means you have to extend these out further for the amount of space that you get, because there's about a 50% reduction in width compared to handle opening. So to show you that, I can use these. I'll use these Kleins here. These are great. I mean, I had these forever. These were always, my go-tos for a long time till I started getting more into the newer tools. These are what my favorites absolutely right now. These Kleins here. These J2059s, they're just a gigantic version. But notice how I can operate those with my hand. See how big an opening I can get there. So I could easily drop something like this in there and get it all the way down to the pivot. No problem there. That's what my grip would look like. However, for this one, that's it right there. So that's the difference. I have to go to a full opening to grab something like that. And so that means I might be turning it into a two-handed operation. That might be okay with you, but for general cutting, working with wire, if you look at this, look at that. That's my standard opening right there. That's how I would hold and operate the pliers. And that's as far as this goes in under the standard opening versus, if I'm using snap-on, it goes all the way to the bottom. No problem. Klein all the way to the bottom. Even the extra long Knipex all the way to the bottom without any extra work. And that's because that comparison here for the opening, if I go this one all the way to the bottom, right there, that's the difference right there in grabbing. And of course you lose strength the further out your hand or your fingers are from the palm. So that's one of the issues with it. It's 62 HRC. Can argue about that in the comments if you want, but they do say no problem with nails, bolts, things like that. And that might be where its real strength is. You don't use it all the time for everything. You use it for those things that require a little bit more. Not a problem there. Let's try it compared to these ideals. A lot more snap, a lot harder. What about these longer handled Kleins? Again, that's the advantage of the longer handles, but still shoots it across the room. So anyway, but for other things, cutting wire, it's just so much easier to use a plier that just requires a little bit of grab. These ideals are great. But when you go up to something like this, it doesn't fit all the way down. However, you've got that advantage, so you can easily cut further up in the jaws than is easy with. Look at that! I can go right to the tip, right up there, and easily cut it with 2 fingers. If I try that with the snap-on, grab that right up at the tip. Whoops, right there. I can't. I'm trying as hard as I can with my fingers. I can probably, yeah, if I grab it with my palm, but these are just silky smooth. I mean, just they cut like butter. Reminds me of these snap-on high leverage pliers. These here, the HL138 ACPs. I love these things. Once you start playing with them for different tasks, you realize just how incredibly strong they are. You know, on the snap-on truck, they'll throw a rubber band, they'll stick a penny in here, throw a rubber band around here, and you try to pull the penny out, and you almost can't, just simply because that rubber band holds this tight enough with that amount of leverage that it really makes a difference. So anyway, if you're cutting, you know, solid metal, bolts, nails, screws, things like that, these are great. Absolutely wonderful. They take a lot of the stress off the hand. You just have that pay forward of having to open it up all the way and maybe operate it 2 hands to get it started. But if you're cutting other wire, they work fine. You just don't expect to get the wire down into the jaw unless you've got a, you know, a XXL hand. This is a L to XL hand right here. So you can see, you know, but overall, pretty nice. And for the price, I mean, they're right in there with a lot of these. I think these are around 30, something like that. The ideals, I might have paid 29 or something. Knipex, they start going up. Snap-on, of course, go way up. But as long as you're okay with not having an Irwin brand, you have an NWS. These really are handy, and I've always liked these. Anyway, with that, Doc out.